The entire crypto market is moving down right now, but rest assured, it's not actually only our crypto coins. Matter of fact, most markets are moving down right now, and there's one very crucial thing that everybody is waiting for, with some more very important things happening over the next few weeks that you have to pay attention to, especially if you've got some positions in. If you're holding some crypto, if you're holding some stocks, take a look at this. So first of all, I think it's crucial to note that the NASDAQ 100 extends losses to minus 4% since August 13th. So in the past week or so, you can see exactly how much down the NASDAQ is. And so if you're looking only at your crypto coins, you're thinking, damn, is this really bad? What happened to my coins? Why? Which 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗓? Realize that it's not just crypto. And this is something that happens very often. When the major markets move down, our coins move down with it. Even though you can't necessarily state there's a perfect correlation most of the time, sometimes when crashes do happen, it seems to be quite perfect, and sometimes similarly for the upside. And now it seems they are in correlation with one another. I must admit, though, that it's kind of funny how much people stress over a 4% move in a week in the NASDAQ and how a 4% move in crypto is like the most normal thing every single day. Matter of fact, even if it moves 4% in an hour, I don't think that many people would start screaming about it over on X. And NASDAQ down 4% in a week, and everybody's making a big ruckus out of it. And there's a few important things to discuss with that, like, for example, some very progressive steps that some countries are taking that are still extremely bullish for our crypto coins. But I'd say that even though I've got two major announcements in that sense, there are two more important events happening over the next few weeks. I'm going to say the next month or so, next month and a little bit actually, that I think will have way more of an effect on our coins. And so even though there are many theories right now that Bitcoin is following M2, following the money supply, and that a crash first needs to happen to follow along with that chart because M2 crashed out as well, there's some interesting theories about that. I first want to show you these two events. One, actually there's three, because today we've got the FOMC minutes. I'll talk about it in a second. But over a few weeks, we've got the FOMC meeting. This will be the most crucial meeting because most likely they'll cut the interest rates, incentivize spending, incentivize a lot of new real estate projects, everything basically. And it tends to do really well for the markets. We expect that level to, I should say, the spending, the consumption, the investment level to go up around this mark as obviously these rates get cut. And yes, people are always front running it, meaning people are bullish in preparation for the event. They're basically buying the rumors, selling the news. But on the opposite side, you have to understand that lowering the interest rate tends to be a little bit of a trend where the moment that it starts, which supposedly is going to be the 16th, 17th of September, from there on forward, we're going to basically enter a more bullish market. And even though you can kind of front run it by expecting the market to go in this direction, ultimately the market usually does better because from that point on forward, rates will be better for companies to start producing better, to start just taking on more debt, etc. And so usually it kind of evens itself out that all the people that are front running it still can actually get themselves a good benefit. Or I should actually say people that are not front running it, but trying to basically go around this event. Regardless, though, if we're talking specifically about crypto, one even more important event is a few weeks after that, as stimulus from FTX's estate is coming on September 30th. It's going to be another $2 billion injection. And I want to counter this by saying it's kind of funny how when we're talking about FTX repaying people, everybody gets really excited. But in reality, it's only $2 billion. Why aren't people that excited when it comes to some of these treasury companies that are already posting up announcements that they're buying billions of dollars, are going to be raising billions of dollars to buy more cryptos? And this is exactly why I've stated that it's such a big deal. Yes, we may see the markets move down a little bit in the short term, but overall, they're all telling you they're buying billions of dollars, just like now with this FTX estate. The last time, though, we talked about it, the whole FTX situation, the market did do pretty well as well. Why all of a sudden are people thinking this is a small deal? Regardless, though, in a few hours, we have ourselves the FOMC minutes. Why this is interesting? Usually they discuss about what their next plans are going to be, how the market is looking. It's 8 p.m. for UTC plus 2. If you're looking at UTC, it's about 6 p.m. If you're looking for Dubai time, just add a little bit on top. Just calculate from your UTC, I'm going to say. And then also the 22nd, we've got Fed Chair Powell speaking again. He's on a little bit of a stroll, it seems. But usually these are always, it kind of depends, but I'm going to say usually these are also what moves the market. FOMC minutes, Fed Chair Powell speech, and a little bit afterwards, of course, the FOMC meeting in a few weeks from now. Anyway, besides all that, remember what I posted in a video yesterday? We posted this little chart from Trading Lord who said, who is ready for the Q3, the third quarter of the year, flush to approximately 110,000. And right now, I believe we are at about 112 before an infinite bid followed by logging off forever. So what that was basically talked about, and this is we talked about a long time ago as well, it's basically talking about one flush, right, which we're witnessing right now as the market is already down like $10,000, so like 8% on Bitcoin, before at the end of the year probably seeing some heights which we couldn't have even fathomed. And that's the thing, right? If you're not prepared for any sort of flushes, if you're not prepared at all, not ready for them, you're not embracing them with extreme amounts of buy pressure, then are you really that bullish on the end of the season? Like on the short term, I told you yesterday, things can get really grim. They can get really annoying, really awful to watch. But you have to also admit for yourself that if you were, for example, extremely consistent with ETH, just like this one person I covered a few times on the channel, right? This person, he started going crazy on ETH the moment that it dipped to about $1,500. A lot of people looked at Eric Trump's post when he said buy ETH at like 3,200, then went to 1,500, and then it gave up. They say, no, you know what? Screw them. All these people don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. But if you compare now, he started saying buy ETH at 32 or 3,500. It went down crazy. If you were consistent enough, though, you had the courage and the power to not give up like this person. He turned 125K into 30 million in just 4 months, in the process, but just not giving up, staying consistent. I will keep reiterating the same thing. Some people said, Dusty, why do you keep making these buy and hold type of videos? It's because I think if I look back at previous markets, the hardest thing looking back is to understand that the markets will test you at every single part of the journey. Nobody ever claimed it was going to be easy. Nobody ever said that it's always going to be a straight line up. I've said in many of my short form videos as well, if you cannot embrace the volatility, which in different words often is called risk, by the way, if you cannot handle it, you don't deserve up. Because what comes up, must also come back down. Fortunately, gives us opportunities though. If the market was only up, theoretically speaking, that'd be unsustainable, but also that would never lead to any opportunity. That would mean you have to buy in, and basically whenever you sell, you always have that opportunity cost of you could have sold it higher, but then do you ever really sell? Because if the market is always moving up, then there's no concept of buying dips, and there's really no concept of ever getting out until you've got enough. But even when you get enough, most people, when they have enough money, they want to invest it in things to make them more. But then there's a little circle of, well, if you're always just going to stay in it, it's just going to continuously go out. But the fun fact is, if you just kind of exclude the dips, which have been temporary for crypto, S&P, Dow Jones, whatever, theoretically speaking, they've always been up. And that comes my point of, as if you zoom out far enough, you realize that every single one of these assets that we usually talk about on the channel has always gone up, but there have been dips. But those dips have always been kind of short-lived. Like if you really start considering how long the crypto market was down for after the previous bull market, it was like a year. If you were just able to hold through that year, you would have done amazing. But also, even in bull markets, the market has gone down sometimes for 5 weeks, 6 weeks in a row. It's really not that bad. We made an all-time high last week. Before that, let's just quickly see for fun, right? If we take a look at Bitcoin's chart, you can see we made an all-time high right there. So that was the week of 14th of July. We made a new all-time high the week of, let's say, the 11th of August. There was 1 month between these highs. Right now, if we go down for like 3 weeks or so, and all of a sudden we make a new all-time high at 136, right? Because previous time, remember, we made an all-time high, went down for a few weeks, and then broke through. If we do a similar sort of thing, is it really that bad? Like, is anything we're talking about right here that bad? I mean, Ethereum is still at 4,150. Bitcoin is at 113,000. XRP is at 286, 285, something like that. I think really, if you're already starting to get really, really worried here that the bull market is over, we're just going to have a different opinion. Because all I'm thinking about is, should I go a little bit harder on the buys here or give it a little bit more time? But I also know now, every single time I thought that, a little bit afterwards, I regret not going a bit crazier. Obviously, there's not too much regret, as I live by the rules of don't regret things too much. But if you're looking at my trades, yes, they're down tremendously. They're down a couple $100,000 since last week, right? In just 1 week, this is down, I think, like probably 200 grand, 300 grand, something like that. But realize for yourself also, realize this to the core, that I don't really care about how much is up or down in the short term, because I know this will be up at least $1 or $2 million over the next, let's just call it 3 months. Minimum. I'm not accepting anything else. I'm not guaranteeing you nothing. That's what I really think is going to happen. So this is all just volatility. It's all just part of the process. And the reason that I love my bots so much as well is because every single time we see some sort of dip like this, it's just stacking up more and more and more. because that's the concept with the bots. They buy and sell as the market progresses. I really, really love it. And I'll say again, if you're also looking for a platform to trade on, I've got all some links down below. And a little bit later today, I'll also do a video about what I really think is going to happen to the price in the shorter term. Now, I just wanted to give you guys an overview of some of the major things that are happening. Like, for example, the fact that in the background, two major things have occurred. One, Goldman Sachs says the potential market for crypto stablecoins is in the trillions of dollars. Now, some of our favorite cryptos like XRP really try to be the rails for stablecoins like this, but also we really start thinking about it. There's still trillions of dollars worth of things that have yet to be tokenized. They'll all come. And it might take a little bit of time. I'm just removing a little cushion I've got right here. It might take a little bit of time, but it shall come. All we got to do is just be patient enough to see it happen. And second of all, China is considering allowing yuan-backed stablecoins, again, reiterating our previously stated point, for the first time in history. Crypto has been illegal, basically, and restricted in China since 2013. They've had some other funny statements coming out over the last few years, but this would be a major shift in policy if China is really opening up. A lot of y'all can't fathom yet just how massive this could be because you're too stuck in this mindset of, yeah, price going down, price going down. Think further than the price of today. Think further than the price of tomorrow. Think about the price of the next few months purely from the perspective of, damn, things are huge. Freaking president is bull posting it. You know, the president's family is all in. They're going crazy on it. All I would say is don't fake the opportunities you're given, because I think in a few months you'll regret yourself if you get shaken out here. You know what? I'll leave it to that. I'm still super excited. Every single dip is seen as an opportunity. If you can't see it that way, I feel sorry for you. Again, no guarantees, not financial advice. These are just my thoughts, but that's about it.